Marino will look into this unexplained phenomenon.
Hey, we had some blue skies for a little bit today, but all that went away as that new high cloud cover moved in. I'll tell you what that means for your forecast coming up.
First in the Coachella Valley, you're watching KMIR TV Palm Springs, where the news comes first. KMIR News starts now.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us for the KMIR News at 6 o'clock. I'm Gino Lamont.
And I'm Janet Zapala. Topping our news at this hour, the Palm Springs man accused of killing his mother was back in court today for a bail hearing, and several new details about the case were revealed. Our Kitty Alvarado was there today. She's here tonight in studio with details for us. Kitty.
Well, unlike yesterday's tearful appearance, 19-year-old Brian Patrick Conroy showed no emotion as he faced the judge this morning. The prosecution argued bail should be raised at $5 million because Conroy poses a, quote, peculiar danger to the public. Brian Patrick Conroy faced the judge in street clothes and a stoic face to hear if his bail on murder charges would jump from $1 to $5 million.
The court should be concerned that he poses a peculiar danger to the public because he says he's laboring under the auditory commands of voices that do not exist.
Deputy District Attorney Scott Clark argued Conroy knew what he was doing when he shot and killed his mother, 36-year-old Amber Lane, in their Palm Springs home.
He knew by his statements to the cops that when he pulled the trigger, a missile was going to come out of the gun and it was going to hurt or kill his mother. In fact, that was the intention, he claimed, to stop these voices.
Adding that Conroy also knew it was wrong.
Mr. Conroy spent a great deal of time misleading officers, and in fact, his stepfather ended up in a jail suit, believed to have committed this crime.
Despite his attorney's arguments that Conroy does not pose a threat because of his young age and no criminal history, the judge raised the bail to $2 million, the scheduled bail for murder with a gun enhancement. Still, his attorney maintains there's no proof of a confession and he's not guilty.
We know from law enforcement that several or multiple recording devices that they were using during their interview of Mr. Conroy somehow malfunctioned at the time that this alleged confession was being made, so that there is no recording whatsoever of those statements that the prosecution is now trying to attribute to Mr. Conroy. So for us, calls into question whether they were made at all.
You're saying he did not shoot his mom. That's the bottom line, or what are you saying?
I'm saying that I believe when the evidence comes out that Mr. Conroy will be exonerated.
And Conroy is set to be back in court on December 6th. Stay with KMIR and KMIR.com for updates. I'm Kitty Alvarado.
All right, thank you, Kitty. Palm Springs police still asking for your help tonight to find a missing 16-year-old girl. Police say Denise Tice is an at-risk teen with medical reasons. She's 5'2", 125 pounds, with green eyes and brown hair. She was last seen at Palm Springs High School wearing a black hoodie and ripped skinny jeans. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Denise Tice, you're asked to please call the Palm Springs Police Department immediately. One person now recovering tonight after another crash on I-10 eastbound near Desert Center. According to CHP, they believe the driver of a Chevy Trailblazer fell asleep at the wheel about 5 o'clock this morning and the car flipped. Now, the driver, a 32-year-old woman from Arizona, was not wearing a seatbelt and was thrown from the car, suffering major injuries. I-10 was shut down as a helicopter landed on the freeway to airlift her and her 3 children, ages 8, 6, and 4, to a local hospital. The children, however, were buckled in and suffered minor injuries.
Tonight, deputies still trying to figure out what was behind a hit-and-run crash and assault in Whitewater over the weekend. This happened Sunday night at around midnight at the Whitewater exit on I-10 westbound. By the time deputies arrived on scene, the driver was unconscious. Now, in addition to suffering significant injuries from that crash, the driver was also the victim of an assault. Well, if you have any information about the crash or any suspicious activity at about that same time, you're asked to call the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. And one person is under arrest tonight following a raid at a suspected chop shop in Palm Springs. The California Highway Patrol made the arrest around 7 o'clock this morning at a home on Desert Park Avenue. Investigators say 27-year-old Guilherme Oliveira was running that chop shop. CHP officials say they also recovered 3 stolen vehicles.
A man who has already been sentenced to death in Arizona for the murder of a highway patrol officer is now facing the death penalty again, but this time in California. 22 years ago, Ernesto Martinez shot and killed a highway patrol officer in Arizona, but fled here to California. He ran out of gas in Blythe and then allegedly shot and killed a shopkeeper, Randip Singh. Ernesto then drove to India, where he barricaded himself in a trailer, but was eventually captured after a 4-hour standoff. Closing arguments were heard today in the California case. If convicted, Martinez, for the second murder, could face the death penalty. A jury has convicted a man of murder and kidnapping as well as arson. 29-year-old Andrew John Muir beat and stabbed to death 38-year-old Jason Cuppet before handcuffing him to a car and setting that car on fire. Muir is now facing life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And a big mystery surrounding Desert Hot Springs tonight after a series of powerful explosions in the area. They shook windows, some residents describing them as small earthquakes. Vince Marino live tonight with a story that you'll see only here on KMIR News.
That's right, Janet. Well, the blasts began a couple of months ago, and as recently as last night, the big booms have been shaking the Foothill community.
In this city of 27,000, no one knows what they are or where they are coming from.
They're like a big explosion. They really are. Totally like boom.
Almost every evening, huge blasts. In several parts of the city, the Desert Hot Springs police has received call after call. Everyone saying the same thing.
It's well above a firecracker and well above an M80.
The chief says that even his own officers on patrol have heard them and have tried to track them down without success.
We have actually checked some of the washes, the flood controls where they're reporting in, and we're not finding any signs of explosives being set off.
Most of the reports come from the Hacienda Heights neighborhood.
It's like a sonic boom almost, you know, and then the ground jumps.
Here, homes sit on a ridge overlooking the valley, but they also butt up against the mountains.
One theory is that the explosions are coming from the east at military bases in Nevada and Arizona. The sound bouncing off the atmosphere and then rolling down the hillside into this neighborhood. It's not as far-fetched as you might think.
2 years ago, foothill communities in Northern California, just east of Sacramento, experienced similar explosions. They were eventually tracked to the Hawthorne, Nevada Army Depot, 100 miles away.
The atmosphere is bouncing in response to this energy, and it's reflecting and bouncing back down.
The Desert Hot Springs police chief says they have checked with local military bases who claim to know nothing. But as recently as Monday evening, Facebook has been flooded with reports of explosions. And until the mystery is solved, it's something the residents of Desert Hot Springs will simply have to put up with.
As long as the house don't fall down and my neighbors are okay and we're all okay, I really doesn't bother me at all.
There are no reports of any injuries or damage. The Desert Hot Springs police still wants to hear from you. If you hear these loud explosions, they're hoping that will help solve the mystery. I'm Vince Marino.
All right, thank you for that, Vince. Water vapor imagery, cloud cover, and snow in Hawaii. He has it all covered. Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett in the Weather Center.
That's exactly what I've got, Janet. How did you know that? That's amazing. Hey, water vapor imagery showing some interesting things happening in the atmosphere. That's Hawaii right there. The Big Island, Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa both got snow. Mauna Kea, 8 inches of new snow, water or winter weather advisories in effect there, which is interesting because many parts of the Midwest have not seen any of that yet. In the meantime, we saw those clear skies earlier today, but as this cloud cover has been moving in, it's met up with some resistance as it's hitting land, and all of that is pushing up towards us. You may have noticed those skies really clouding up today, but what it's done is it's insulated us a little bit. After dark, it's still 68 degrees in Palm Springs, cooler along the coast, 63 in Santa Ana, 61 in San Diego, 64 in the big city right now, and those winds that we were tracking this time yesterday, virtually non-existent. They have calmed completely, but some spots did get into the 70-mile-an-hour range overnight last night. Temperature sitting at 68 at the airport, dew point sitting at 34, and that barometric pressure is on the rise, which means temperatures about to go up. We'll track that together coming up, guys.
All right, thank you, Mike. Well, with the holidays coming in full, and I'll give people ordering their gifts online, never-ending quest. Those deliveries could make you a target for thieves. KMIR keep your goods safe.
Hey Gino, I don't know about you, but I am definitely someone who shops online, and one way to make sure that your packages don't get stolen is to install security cameras like this house did in Cathedral City. Or if you're ordering with Amazon, you could have your items shipped to an Amazon locker. Now the U.S. Postal Service says mail theft for Riverside and San Bernardino counties has gone up last year, so they are advising you to take extra precautions this holiday season. I spoke with one man who says he only uses Amazon lockers because his mail has been stolen before.
You order on Amazon, and under delivery options, you pick the nearest Amazon locker, and it shows you all the ones that are in your area. And this one's right near where the freeway, so on my way home, so I just come and pick up my stuff.
The U.S. Postal Service suggests using the hold for pickup option, requiring a signature, or changing the address mid-transit if you know you aren't going to be home. Again, the best thing that you can do to make sure your packages get delivered safely into your own hands is just to be home when they arrive. Live in Cathedral City, Lauren Day, KMIR News.
All right, Lauren, thank you for that. Well, a big discovery off the California coast.
Still ahead tonight, see why a newly found fossil could be a scientific first.
Scientists have found a fossil for an extinct species of sea cow on the Channel Islands off the coast of California. Now, scientists think they found the fossilized remains of a skull and parts of a rib cage of an ancient relative of the manatee. They were called Sirenians, and they were off the Santa Rosa Island. Experts on ancient marine life still need to get a closer look before they can confirm the existence of the species, but they're going to have to wait. A team of volunteers will protect the fossil for the upcoming winter and then plan to excavate in the spring or early summer.
Well, marching bands from all around the globe have descended upon Palm Springs for the World Association of Marching Show Bands World Championships. It's the first time the championships have been held here in the United States. The opening ceremonies kicked off today at Palm Springs City Hall, hosted by Mayor Rob Moon. The championships will be held all week at the Richards Center for the Arts, Palm Springs High School, Ralph Wyatt Stadium, and downtown Palm Springs. And the final day will be this coming Saturday, December 2nd. And by the way, you can catch those marching bands at the Palm Springs Festival of Lights Parade also on Saturday, December 2nd. The annual event, always a huge hit. And it's, again, just a few days away this coming Saturday. It all kicks off at 5:30 at night. The route runs down Palm Canyon from Ramon to Coachella in downtown Palm Springs. Hopefully we'll see you out there, because I'll be out there along with Gino and Mike Everett and a lot of our KMIR news staff. But if you can't make it, well, watch it right here on KMIR. We'll be broadcasting the event from start to finish, beginning at 6 o'clock right here on KMIR.
Well, it's been almost a year since actress Carrie Fisher passed away.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but now the actress has a chance to win a Grammy. That's coming up in tonight's Showbiz Report.
And if you're planning on joining us on Saturday for that Festival of Lights parade, it looks like it's going to be warm during the day, cool during the night. We'll track that and your 7-day forecast when we come back. It hit land, it hit resistance, and that is pushing some of that cloud cover up from the south and southwest, as we discussed yesterday, which is going to keep us insulated tonight. Temperatures, they'll get cool. It'll take a while to get there. Speaking of cool, we're seeing the jet stream dipping way down south now. Denver, much cooler by about 15 degrees than they were this time last night. In the meantime, Calgary, above freezing, which is something we haven't seen for a while. And speaking of warmth, we are seeing lots of that above average weather. Still 70 degrees in Dallas. You got to bear in mind, they've been dark now for about 2 or 3 hours. Temperatures here, talking about insulation, we are seeing everything for 53 in 29 Palms, 66 in Thousand Palms, still 73 in La Quinta, a pair of 63s in Palm Springs and Cathedral City, and 47 on top of San Jacinto. Now, talking about that cloud cover, that will continue to just flow up from the south and southwest. So what that means is we're going to see more of that filtered sunshine through tomorrow and into Thursday as well. A few '70s for the most part. Look for 78s, especially in Indio, Palm Desert, La Quinta, Coachella, Indian Wells. We'll see that in Cathedral City as well. Desert Hot Springs. 1,000 Palms topping out at 76, 60 on top of the Tram and in Idlewild, 51 in Big Bear, where it will get below freezing every night this week.
But she was nominated in 2009 for her other book, Wishful Drinking. Coming up, you wouldn't expect to be an ice hockey team here in the desert.
But yet there is a high school hockey club, and we'll tell you more next.
KMIR Sports, the Legal Docs by Me Sports Desk. Here's Amy Zimmer.
Living in a desert, it's no surprise hockey is not a sport played by many. Actually, there's not one local high school in the valley with a hockey team, but we do have one local ice skating rink in Cathedral City called the Desert Ice Castle, and it's home to the only high school club team in the Coachella Valley.
We're the Rams, and we play in the Anaheim Ducks High School League. It's the fastest growing hockey league in the United States. We're kind of in the outskirts of the Southern California hockey community, so we really struggled to put together a full team.
You don't hear most people saying, like, oh, what sport do you play? You know, you hear football, baseball, soccer sometimes, but nobody says hockey.
Normally, schools compete against each other in sports, but here, 14 kids from 9 different local high schools form one team, the Palm Springs United Rams.
Has set them up for the winning field goal. Here's golf.
No, not these Rams. The Rams in Palm Springs play on ice, but a place where it's tough to find ice much of the year.
Not just breaking records, I mean shattering them by 4 or 5 degrees in several spots today.
It's also tough to find high school kids who know how to play on ice.
There's not enough kids out here. We have a great rink, we have great staff. It's just we need more people to play with us.
I really hope it grows out here because we have a lot of talented kids that just don't know about the sport yet, so it'd be great to see a lot of younger kids get out here and grow into the sport.
In hot places like the desert, roller skates often replace ice skates, and that's how a lot of these guys began.
I started playing roller hockey, but then we just kind of got to ice hockey.
A lot of the kids that we get start with roller hockey, and they get hooked, and then they move on up to ice.
It's a particular challenge for one-time snowbirds.
That was actually the hardest thing to leave back in Michigan was my hockey. But finding something like this, I mean, this is great. My son, he's been, let's see, he's 4 years now playing hockey, and I never would have expected him playing.
It's just such a great sport. There's so many life lessons in hockey that these boys learn. Our main focus is teaching these guys how to be good teammates, good citizens in their community, to work hard, and to understand the benefits of working hard.
The Rams have a home game against Pacific Ridge Prep this Friday night at Desert Ice Castle. Puck drops at 9.
That's such good exercise.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
It's nice seeing hockey in the desert.
Yeah.
Coming from Michigan myself.
So you've seen a little hockey.
I grew up skating on the pond.
I was going to say, you play
figure skater, Red Wings. Come on, Peter.
Figure skater, Red Wings. You can't be both.
What?
Thanks, Andy.
Can you imagine?
One or the other.
Coming up, Santa's trading in his milk and cookies for protein and muscles. No, he's not.
Well, he's trying. We're going to introduce you to one Santa who has no problem carrying a giant bag of toys.
brighter side of the news is brought to you by Holland RV, located off the I-10 at Washington.
Getting beat up by diabetes, and I realized, you know, if I was going to see my kids graduate from high school, I was going to have to lose some weight and get in shape.
He gets a real beard. No? Does that look real?
It certainly did.
It starts
yeah.
real, but it may go into a fake one. Anyway, this is Santa Claus lifting weights. We're going to show you Santa Claus doing a lot of things over the next couple of months.
Well, this guy is competing for the world's strongest man masters title in North Carolina next month.
In a Santa suit.
Doing it upright. Thanks for watching. Good night.